Ever feel completely drained after talking to someone you care about? You hang up the phone or walk away from a conversation not feeling uplifted but exhausted and anxious. If this sounds familiar, listen closely because the problem might not be you. Toxic relationships rarely start with obvious harm. Instead, they often begin with something that looks and feels a lot like love. That's what makes them so confusing and hard to identify. The damage happens slowly, in subtle ways that chip away at your confidence and peace of mind. But there are clear signs, and when they happen over and over, they're telling you something important. Let's start with that feeling of being drained. A healthy relationship should be your safe harbor, a place where you feel supported and energized. A toxic one, however, acts like an emotional vacuum. After every interaction, you feel like your battery's at zero, instead of feeling recharged. It's a constant state of emotional exhaustion. Next, pay attention to how they talk to you. Do they belittle you or undermine your worth, maybe disguised as a joke? Sarcasm, mockery, or comments that minimize your thoughts and feelings are not loving. They're a form of emotional harm. If you try to express that you're hurt and they respond with, "You're just being too sensitive," or "You're overreacting," they are invalidating your feelings, not respecting them. Another huge red flag is a constant feeling of guilt. In a toxic dynamic, you're often manipulated into feeling responsible for everything that goes wrong. It's a twisted cycle where your partner might say something hurtful, but by the end of the argument, you're the one apologizing. You do it to keep the peace or out of fear of losing them, even when you did nothing wrong. This leads to the next sign, a fear of expressing yourself. Have you ever found yourself carefully choosing your words or even staying silent just to avoid a negative reaction? When you start self-censoring to prevent your partner's anger, ridicule, or the silent treatment, it's a serious warning that the relationship is not a safe space for you to be yourself. And what about your personal boundaries? Healthy relationships thrive on mutual respect for privacy and personal space. A harmful one will repeatedly cross those lines. Maybe your partner insists on checking your phone, meddles in your friendships, or tries to control your personal decisions, all under the banner of caring about you. This isn't care. It's control. One of the most confusing patterns is the emotional cycle of cruelty and kindness. This is where your partner hurts you deeply, but then follows it up with a sudden burst of affection, apologies, and promises to change. This creates a powerful, unhealthy attachment that keeps you trapped between pain and hope. It makes you doubt your own judgment and second-guess your decision to leave. Over time, this erodes your very sense of self. A toxic relationship can slowly separate you from the person you once were. You might find yourself giving up hobbies you love or distancing yourself from friends because your partner doesn't approve or feels threatened by them. You start to shrink, losing pieces of yourself to fit into the relationship. And finally, you find yourself constantly making excuses for their behavior. If you're always telling yourself or others, they just going through a hard time, or they don't really mean it. Despite the repeated pain, you're not just justifying their actions, you're participating in the toxic dynamic. Here's the truth. A relationship isn't defined by its good moments, but by how safe, respected, and valued you feel within it. Love shouldn't feel like a constant battle. It shouldn't require you to lose yourself to keep it. If you feel like your relationship is confusing you more than comforting you, that isn't love. If you're shrinking to keep someone else happy, it's time to choose yourself. If any of this resonated with you, please know you're not alone. Help is available, and taking the first step is a sign of incredible strength. You deserve to feel safe and cherished. Have you ever experienced something like this? Share your story in the comments if you feel comfortable. Your experience might be the validation someone else needs to see. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more content to help you build a healthier emotional life.